To avoid bearing the lead, the Royal Inspiration game is unfortunately not salvageable. I'm going to move on with the next series, which is going to be Scourge versus Civilian Industries. So I apologize for that. I want to go through a little bit of the why for those of you who were watching it and hoping for a return. This is one of the roadblocks I ran into because the CPAs were larger and the Hunter fleet was being smarter. It wasn't coming into my planets as much and cleaning itself out. So then I was starting to get, instead of CPAs in the low 300s, I was getting about 450, and I got blocked off here. And this is almost 400 strength over 4,000 ships. So then I said, okay, there's no way I could do that with what I have. I've got a couple outguard, combine my fleets. The most I can take on time is perhaps 200 or so strength. So, all right, I went the other way because I was going to use the old ensnare battle station trick, come down here to Kirstein, and of course, I did eventually accomplish that, but that just sort of delayed the inevitable here. So this is the point at which I realized it was over, Lawrence, which was my hardest mid-game fight the first time through, but I did manage to get through and pound through all the Warden eventually. Not so much this time. And the main reason is, well, there's two of them, but primarily the Royal Dire to Thweda. Because I was able to gradually pull ships out of systems as much as 700, 800 strength initially. With the ensnare battle station, pull out 30, 40 strength of them at a time, knock them out, go back in, eventually wear it down. Here, I mean, first of all, you leave yourself vulnerable to massive counterattacks. You have to have the battle station survive long enough to pull ships out. So there's a limit at how much you can do that. So you divert their attention with the outguard. But outguard just feeds the system with a Dire to Thweda. So that's a problem. And then I was able to get my cloak transport in, but unlike earlier in the map in Tavanian, where I was able to get in here and go around the outside, clear out the guard posts, and you pay a price, but eventually you get them all cleared out so that you get rid of the counterattack problem, and then you can eventually pull everything out. Well, there's a stealth guard post in here. So without cheating, there was simply no way. It was sort of like a perfect circle of defense. So why did I fail this time on the same map that I was successful at before? Well, part of it's turrets. The Seekers and the counter snipers aren't as good, and I was relying heavily on those. Again, the Warden and Hunter, particularly the Hunter, slamming itself into your planets, they're more smarter. They stay away more. I tried to bait them in and was not successful in doing that to any significant degree. And then there's also just the sheer fact of the reinforcement logic being changed. Because now that the reinforcements are spread out more throughout the galaxy, not going so much into the border worlds, the CPAs were stronger, so things just built up more. And I could have approached the strategy differently, but I was going to have a very difficult time winning, if I even could, which is unlikely, the end game in the original run. And here, I would have had to invest more early on in other things, other ship techs, etc., to help me move faster, so that it would have taken me even less research at the end of the game. And so there's no question, like, I could have approached it differently and gotten back to the Spire, but I would have failed. So I'm going to try a different map sometime in the future, hopefully for Spire. I would like to sort of jump into a similar scenario, but one where I'm set up decently, about halfway through the Spire aspect of it, cut out all the build-up. But I've got to rethink how I'm going to do it. Because I don't think this is the right kind of map. I might try to go back to concentric and start in the middle so I can move around the enemy system some. That's a possible idea. I may have to invest differently. I may have to start with a couple Spire cities earlier in the game so I can have the firepower to punch through some of these types of situations. I don't know. But the next game will be much quicker. Scourge sort of mandates that. And hey, I haven't ever beaten the Scourge, so it'll be a fun thing to dive into. Again, I do regret not being able to push this through, but I spent a ton of time on this, frankly way too much, and it's just not going to happen. Definitely been beat down the last couple runs, but hopefully the next one will be better. So thanks for watching, everybody, and a new series, hopefully, starting next week.